Hello guys, and welcome back to Mental Health Mondays. I'm really excited to get back into doing these, and please do let me know if you have any suggestions for future Mental Health Monday videos. And if you are new here, then welcome to my channel. For the video, I just wanted to give a little bit of a background about me. I have a long history of mental illness, and maybe about 3 years ago I finally got the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. After years of wondering, I was just told that I had anxiety and depression. So yeah, I thought that was relevant to today's video because I wanted to make a video on breakups. I didn't want it to be the standard breakup video, because for me breakups are the worst triggers for my mental health, and I know with borderline personality disorder there's a huge fear of rejection and abandonment and stuff like that. It's probably the #1 thing that I struggle with. So yeah, I just thought hopefully this video will help you, and even if you are just going through a breakup, these tips are relevant to you as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. So for me, a breakup was kind of what tipped me over the edge when I was 17, when I had what I call my big breakdown. It's the first time that I was severely depressed. I'd been depressed before then, but I'd never made an attempt on my life. And as a result of that, I now have PTSD. So whenever I am broken up with, which is usually the case, my mind instantly reverts back to then. It's really weird, and yeah, now I'm aware of it, I can do things to pull myself out of it. And I've made a list, and I've even gone through my therapy book. It's so weird to read back through it, through all my breakups and stuff. Yeah, my therapist has been amazing with just giving me tips on how to get through and get over a breakup. Now I know it's hard if you've had to break up with someone, but a lot of my tips are mainly tailored towards if you've been broken up with, just because that's what I've experienced in the past. For me, it's always really weird because I always like to be in control in a relationship, so I'm always the one in control, and then suddenly there's a switch. And the other person is in control, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, I'm calling them a million times a day. Okay, so tip #1 is to avoid saying, oh, this always happens, being broken up with. So with me, I think, oh, this always happens to me. And in actual fact, it doesn't always happen to me. All of my serious relationships, yes, they have been the ones to break up with me. However, other not so serious relationships, I have been doing the breaking up. Doing this is just going to make you feel worse. You're going to get into a state of confirmation bias. So what you need to do is rationally counteract what you are thinking. The next thing I would recommend is therapy. Now hopefully if you are feeling suicidal anyway, you are currently in therapy. It seems weird to have a therapist for, well obviously it's not just for relationship breakups. I feel a bit silly going to him for that, but then with BPD it's kind of one of the main things. Next is to cut all contact. Trust me, you're not going to want to see what they're up to. With my previous breakup, even though we broke up, when I went onto his Facebook and saw his single status, literally I could not get over it. It made me feel so shit. Being friends straight away just won't work, trust me, it won't. You need to have that time apart, and if you do want to end up friends, that's what you need to do. The next thing I was actually recommended by my psychiatrist as a proven method to get over someone faster, and that is to write down 10 things that you don't like about the person you've just broken up with. Because often when we break up with people, we can put them on a pedestal, and you only think about the positive things. For me, it's weird because I've always been thinking about breaking up with a person, but then I don't want to lose them, and so I've already been having those doubts, but then they break up with me and I'm like, no, I want you back. It's this whole thing that something is more desirable when we can't have it. Even if you don't want it in the first place, and then someone tells you you can't have it, you want it more. So yeah, write down your 10 things and then read through it 3 times a day. And this is apparently proven to speed up your rate of getting over someone. And I have to say, I've tried it multiple times and I guess it's worked because I am over them. Next up are just doing nice things for yourself. So I have a list of things that help me when I am in that state of mind when I've been broken up with and my ego's taken a bit of a knock, and usually because the PTSD kicks in and I'm in a state of disassociation, I'm just like, take me away from this world. So yeah, I have a list of things that help me. So on my list are things like my dog, stroke my dog, take my dog out, spend time with my family, speak to friends, go out and do things. I understand these are all so difficult when you feel suicidal. And then also things like me time. Me time is so important because, like I said, if you've been broken up with, your ego is taken a huge knock. And if you do also have BPD like me, rejection just makes you feel so embarrassed and hurt, and I don't know, like for me it's like other people looking at me like, oh, you can't even keep down a boyfriend, like you're pathetic, when I don't think that's the actual case. It's just me judging myself. So I think me time and treating yourself well, even if you don't want to, is really important. So, you know, just things like taking a nice bubble bath, getting your nails done. People always go and change their hair when they break up with someone or get a tattoo or piercing, whatever it is. It gives you something to look forward to as well. As for your ego, what I found really good as well is to write down 10 positive things about yourself. I know it might be hard to think of them, but if you write down those things and try and read that every day, as well as your bad things about the person you've just broken up with, hopefully it's gonna get into your subconscious. Force yourself to do it. Maybe even get a friend to help you with the list, because trust me, there are tens of millions of good things about all of you. Another tip, rejection wise, I find rejection loses its sting when you are more confident within yourself and you don't seek things like closure or validation from other people. The closure one especially, so many people when they break up, they're like, I just want closure from the other person. And what I have realized is that you're never gonna have that. So you're just gonna have to learn to have closure within yourself. Next up is to create distance between you and your thoughts. So after a huge trigger of a breakup, obviously it can then cause loads and loads and loads and loads of overthinking. This is why your body disassociates, because it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's too much for me. And then it just kind of, yeah, puts you into this horrible mindset, which actually doesn't help, because then, well, I panic even more. Yeah, creating distance between you and your thoughts. Remembering, number one, that thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts in your head. They're not all true. Number two, an exercise I really like doing to put space between me and my thoughts is to see them on a conveyor belt. So you're thinking them, but you're not attaching yourself to them, because as soon as you attach yourself to them, that's when the overthinking is going to start. It's really hard to do, but I do find if you practice it, it's really helpful. Just to notice that you are thinking that at that point, and just to catch yourself is a really good skill as well. You know, obviously there's mindfulness too. Also, just to sit with the emotion and not be completely taken in with it. Just remember, it's just a feeling. These feelings are temporary. You will get through this. I promise you, you don't need to take any drastic measures to remove yourself from the world. You will get over this person. The next tip is to do with the past and the future. So what I like to do is think about how I've got through crises in the past, because, you know, I've been through a fair few breakups. My first major one was obviously the worst, and I managed to get through that. So kind of every time something happens with a relationship, I like to think that, you know, as bad as I feel, then hopefully I will get through it. I mean, it's not how I think in the time. I'm thinking, nope, I can't do this. This keeps happening to me. I don't want to live anymore. But yeah, I also have a list of like how I've got through it and what I've done. So think about how you have got through certain situations in the past and what has helped. Basically like the tips that I've been given in this video, but just write them down so you have them when it happens. And finally is think about your future opportunities. Obviously when you're suicidal, you don't want to think about your future. However, on a moment when you're feeling a little bit lighter, it is really good to think about things that you're looking forward to, or even make things to look forward to, you know, trips to the cinema, theatre, seeing friends, waiting for your online clothing order to arrive, anything. I know you may not want to, but think about, you know, the new guys you could meet who are much better than your ex. Think about all the places you can travel to if you want to, and just think about where your life could go, because you never know what is going to happen. I wanted to go to uni to study law to become a criminal barrister, and I've ended up doing YouTube as my full-time career. So yeah, you never know what is going to happen. Number one quote is, "This too shall pass." I promise you, you will get through this. If you want to message me at any time, I'm always here. My social media links are in the description. Also, I'll link some really interesting videos down below. There's one, I think this is how you say his name, Alan Debouton. He does some really good videos on rejection. I know I didn't touch on rejection that much in this video, and obviously it's like a key theme. So if you do want me to do a video more centered around rejection and maybe like linked with borderline personality disorder, then yeah, let me know. Do let me know if you did find this video helpful. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Just to let you know, my current upload schedule is a Mental Health Monday video on a Monday and then a normal video on the Thursday, and I'm also weekly vlogging, so that goes up on a Sunday. I am sending love to all of you who are in this current horrible situation, but I promise it will get better. Goodbye.